talk about fears. Let's talk about love. Yeah, I got fears, but I ain't got no love.
As always, we have to look at the victim. We have to look at Josh, and we have to see what type of person he was. Now, on the surface, everybody sees one thing. But everybody has something that not too many people, if anybody, knows about. And I think Josh certainly falls into that category. When I first researched the case, it was, hate to use the word apparent, but it was on my frontal lobe that he certainly just fell in the water. But isn't that an easy way out? Sure, it might be the most logical, maybe. The first thing that stood out to me, obviously, was when I retraced his walk home, the body of water that he had to navigate. Now, for all of you that don't know the case, let me jump back a little bit. So Josh was a 20-year-old student at St. John's University, an all-male school, and it was adjoined by a all-female school, and I forget the name of what that is. This is in Minnesota. Josh was a political type major, lawyer, had aspirations, I think, for politics. Now, some of the people they interviewed said he would have been president of the United States. I think that's probably pushing it a little bit, but it's always good to have goals and aspirations. I don't know. I don't know the guy. But his friends seem to think very highly of him. You go back even a little further to his high school days, and he was class president and voted most likely to succeed. Now, just off those little things, it tells you a lot about the kid. Not everything, for sure, but he obviously had his head screwed on right for those type of accolades. No, not necessarily either. I mean, I was class president of not my high school. I was finished in the bottom third of my class in high school. But then I went on to college and I made the dean's list almost every year. So it just goes to show you, if you want to learn, you learn. I wanted to learn in college. In high school, I could care less. But my point is, I was class president of my police academy. And should I have been? I think they voted a little too soon. That's what I think. We voted for class president within the first 3 weeks, when I was the lieutenant in charge of everybody for the first 2 weeks. And I think that's because I had a Marine Corps background and I had college education. And so they put me in charge. And yeah, you know, it is what it is. But then they voted. Had they voted later on, I think maybe they would have chose somebody else who wasn't as such a stickler as I was at that time. So it could be, what I'm trying to get at is it could be sometimes a political type of decision, a fan favorite type of decision. It's not always based on merit. So, but he was certainly headed in the right direction, and everyone that they talked to, Netflix, and the research I did, spoke very, very highly of him. So let's just skip right forward to the night that he disappears. It's apparent that he goes to a party with his roommates, which is a 3-minute walk from his dorm room. His key card is used to go back into the dorm around 11:05, I want to say, something around that nature. And apparently, according to the roommates, it was to grab some beer. Or grab something, and that's something else that you can't jump to conclusions and just say, hey, that's the reason he went back into his dorm room. Maybe that's just what he told his roommates. You don't know what he went back in there to do. But regardless, he came back out fairly quick. They proceeded to this party, which had about 10 to 12 people. They were playing poker. He was drinking, of course. And at some point in time, before midnight, around 11:45, something like that, he leaves. So he must not have been at that party very long. Now, he doesn't tell anybody he's leaving. And his friends say that that is unusual. Or at least one friend said that. Now, they would know. I used to do that all the time. I still do it occasionally when I go out, which is very rarely anymore. But when I did, I would say I'm going to the bathroom and I would just leave. All the time. And my friends would say the next day or whatever, where'd you go? You didn't even say goodbye to anybody. I was notorious for that. And I don't know why. I have no idea why I did that. Maybe it's because I didn't like goodbyes. Even though I was going to see them the next day or whatever. I don't know why I did that, but I used to do it all the time. So victimology would tell you whether Josh would do that. Some of the people at the party knew him, some didn't know him, but at least one person said it seemed like he had to go somewhere, like he had to be somewhere. Now, I don't know how you can tell that if he doesn't say it. If he's continually looking at his watch, maybe. This was in 2002 when he disappeared, November 9th. So very cold weather, which is important, but he didn't have a cell phone, I'm assuming. Was he asking somebody what time it was? Did he have to meet somebody? Regardless, he left, and he didn't tell anybody. He has a 3-minute walk back to his dorm. Yet his key card is never used to re-enter his building. Yet, through research, I find, and by all intent and purposes, he never went back. That's the prevailing theory, is he never went back to his dorm. Yet, through my research, I found that between 11:52 p.m. and 12:32, his computer was playing music. And not only was it playing music, it had forward, skipped some songs. They were able to tell this later when they took his computer. That is extremely important, right? But let's say that didn't happen. Let's say he never made it back there, and the next day he's reported missing. He didn't make it to his, I think it was a meeting for a mock trial. Again, he was practicing to be an attorney, which was out of character, and he's never found again.